Terra Luna Classic community, you have a choice. You always have a choice. And I want to thank some of you because you are making what I think is a great choice right now. I'm going to show you what I mean. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. Look, if you're a maxi, you're not going to like it. But I'm going to tell you things that you need to hear that you may not want to. First, a big shout out to each and every one of you who listened when I talked, when I told you, when I showed you everything that was going on. Happy Caddy Crypto's gone from over 44 billion staked to about 42 billion. So that is a 5% dip in the amount of people who are allowing him to vote for them and for him to veto proposals. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys for that. The only way that you can send a message to a validator is by unstaking and redelegating with somebody else so that they can give you the votes that you are entitled to and that you. Same thing over here for Interstellar. It's not as precipitous, but there was a drop at the same time of people saying, you know what, I don't really agree with the way that these guys are voting, so I'm going to let my voice be heard. If you want to let your voice be heard and you are unhappy with how your validator is voting, stake with somebody, anybody else. I would take the time, and by the way, it's validator.info. In case anybody is wondering, validator.info, and it's Terra Classic. It's up here. Let me move this down here so you can see. It's validator info right there. And that's how you figure out what is going on in this community and how everybody's voting. You can see, go decide for yourself. There's a governance tab right here, and it will tell you every single vote. It will tell you, it's got a full history here of everything that's ever happened here. And you can see how everybody has voted. And even in many instances, you can find out a reason why they voted. For example, I've been a proponent of the Classic SubDAO, Terra Classic SubDAO initiative. I think that we need a steering committee because the people who are in charge currently, and by in charge, I just mean the validators with the largest stake, they continue to exert a vast control over what happens on this chain, whether it's for the benefit or the detriment of this chain. So when you come in here and you look at it, then you can see no, and you can see no with veto. This Happy Caddy, he didn't even care to grace anybody with a reason why. Interstellar abstained from it. All nodes voted yes for it. Jesus is Lord voted no. And he said, I oppose the formation of paid leadership bureaucrats, diminishing the importance of community governance and potentially harming the chain. That is actually again, I've never been a fan of Jesus is Lord, but I respect this decision because he was honest about it and he said exactly what it is that he thought. And look, I disagree with it fundamentally, but I understand because he gave a solid reason why. Lunk Live, no with veto. This wallet, no with veto. Jesus is Lord 2, no with veto, but you already saw that. Community First Lunk says, CFL is changing our vote to no with veto to reflect the seriousness of the risk to our chain from attempts to undermine the governance principles that are the bedrock of the decentralized ecosystem. And again, fair enough. If you think that decentralization is working for you, then show me on the chart where it's working. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, or at least what it should come down to in my mind. Price action, interest, all of those things are paramount to whether or not you are making the right decisions. So again, I would, if you care at all about this chain, take the time, go to validator.info, look at how the people that you validate with are voting, and then decide for yourself whether that is worth it to you. And by the way, we don't go to station very often, but when we do, you can connect your wallet up here. Once you've connected your wallet, you can go to stake over here, and it would literally show you every single place and you know which assets that you have staked. It'll give you kind of a breakdown of it, and you can simply do your stake or unstake or whatever it is that you would need to do. You would make sure, of course, that you're on the classic chain so that you can do something with it. But I digress. You can. It's very simple, in fact, to make these moves once you kind of take the time to just understand it and validate with whomever it is that supports your beliefs. And again, I am opposed to Happy Caddy Crypto, but if you believe that Happy Caddy Crypto wants what's best for your wallet, stake with him. You know, I don't care. I don't like him. I don't respect what he's doing, but that doesn't mean that you can't or that you shouldn't. That's just my opinion. So don't base your opinions on what I say. I'm a moron, okay? I'm just a moron that wants your bag to go up. I don't want your bag to keep going down. And it is my opinion that these clowns have just made your value go down. All of the work that you put in. And by the way, you don't put in a lot of work, but you share content. Every single day, you're looking on socials. You're trying to find reasons for people to be excited about Luna Classic. You're invested mentally in it. Are you putting in the work? Maybe not, but you are putting in some kind of effort, and I would like to see that you're rewarded for it. Well, your reward so far for the decisions that you've made about who you validate with and who handles your bag right now got you here. So maybe, just maybe, these guys are wrong. Now, if you don't believe that, show me on the price chart where I'm wrong. You just have to show me where I'm wrong. So if you validate, or if we validate with the people who make the right decisions for us, then guess what? The right decisions will get made for us. If we validate with the people who make the wrong decisions for us, this chart right here. It's what happens. And again, we're not always going to always agree on everything, but there are fundamental principles about leadership that we really should agree on. Even every decentralized chain has some form of leadership. You might think that's not true. No. There are DAOs, there are situations in which there are voting principles, but even Ethereum has a council to kind of steer people in the right direction. So you decide for yourself, but again, it is my mission right now to make sure that you are validating with people whose beliefs align with your own. And again, if you're totally decentralized and you think that that's going to pump your bag somehow, Happy Caddy Crypto is your guy. I mean, that's your guy. If you want leadership, if you want progress, almost anybody else. You know what I mean? It's real simple. Even Jesus is Lord is better. So that's a decision for you to make, though. Again, I'm steering you away because of my opinion, but that's a decision for you. As far as volume with these people in charge, remember, it used to be 100 billion. Now it's 9.9 billion. Remember, it used to be about 50 billion every day on USTC. Now it's about 4.7 billion. Oh yeah, but Bitcoin's at an all-time high. Guys, you see where I'm going with this, right? It's always burns 169. Remember, it used to be a lot more in burns. Now, we had that moment with Terraform Labs where a lot got burned, but generally speaking, we were at least good for 250 to 350 to 400 million burns every week. Now we're down to 169, and there's really, by the way, just no spike at all. Just no spike at all. No enthusiasm for what's going on and what's being built right here. And listen, what they're going to tell you, what they're going to tell you is, well, crikey, with my chips and my fish and whatever the fuck they say, and my beans and who eats beans for breakfast? Who does that? What is, whatever. I'm not British. You're British. Anyway, there's a lot, there's a lot to unpack. Okay. I want what's best for Luna Classic. I think you want what's best for Luna Classic. Again, we don't always agree on what that is. We should at least agree that when a bad actor is identified, that we should be able to agree on what a bad actor is. And there are fundamentals that we should be able to look at. We should be able to look at price action. We should be able to look at what they've built, as long as they've built something that somebody else didn't already build because they're trying to take money or revenue from that person. We should be able to fundamentally look around, and we should be able to see clearly this person is not looking out for my better interest. Look at the value in your wallet. That should be that's your litmus test. The end. That's your litmus. Now, in the short term, is that a wise strategy? Maybe not. In the long term, is that a wise strategy? Yeah, unless you don't want to make money, unless you're here to be somebody else's exit liquidity, which is dumb. If that's the case, you're on the right track. If that's not the case, what are you doing? It is time for you to step up, validate with the people. By the way, a lot of you don't like some of these votes, But a lot of you still sit there on your bags, still allowing these people to be your validators and give them voting power, and you don't do anything about it. We need to realign what Luna Classic means. We need to realign this entire system, and we need to rip out the people who are stifling whatever it is that we're trying, so that the people who do truly want to build can step up and they can lead us to that promise. I'm not saying that Vegas is that guy. I'm not saying that RexY is that guy. I'm not saying that Frag is that guy or Strathcole is that guy. I'm not saying that David is that guy. I'm not saying that any of these people are that guy. If you believe that it's Happy Caddy Crypto, you should be validating with Happy Caddy Crypto. If you believe that it's Interstellar, you should be validating with Interstellar. I can show you data that shows, yeah, you're not going to get anywhere like that, but maybe you think that's a coincidence. So validate with people who align with your principle. And if they do, keep validating with them. If they don't, find somebody who does. That's my opinion. It's only my opinion. You do what you got to do, boo-boo. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.